Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's October 31st, 2016. Many people call this day Halloween Day. The big news this morning, the Democratic Party's response to the FBI reopening its investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. We're going to talk about today's news, and it's going to follow up with what I shared Friday, how the story from the FBI reopening the investigation, connecting Hillary Clinton to Anthony Weiner. I said it was political baseball, and I showed how it was a tribute to the World Series. Well, what I overlooked in that presentation was the FBI was established in 1908, the same year the Cubs last won the World Series, 108 years ago, that special number. We're going to revisit that and more. First, before we get into this, I just want to share with you something cool about Halloween, since it is Halloween. Halloween in Gematria sums to 41, that special number. 41's the 13th prime number. No number divides into 41 besides 41 and 1, making it the 13th prime. The United States of America began with 13 colonies. There's 13 stripes on the flag. USA equals 41 in simple English Gematria. U is 21, S is 19, A is 1, 21 plus 19 plus 1, 41, 41 the 13th prime, again 13 colonies, 13 stripes, 13 years of public school programming. Halloween's always on October 31st. That's a date with 41 numerology. You know, how fitting. Special number 41. The word lock equals 41, the word key. So anyway, Halloween lesson aside, let's talk about today's news. If you've turned on the TV, all sorts of members of the Democratic Party talking about how what the head of the FBI did, James Comey, was unprecedented, immoral, out of protocol. Some people are saying he should resign. They're pointing out also that the FBI is supposedly withholding evidence that Donald Trump and Russia are connected somehow financially in this election. Truth seeker, all of this is bogus propaganda by the numbers, meant to make people pick sides and fight needlessly. Look at the way most people's minds work in our society. You know, if there's two news stories side by side, and one's about how Donald Trump is being funded by Russia for the election, and the other story is Hillary and her emails and her irresponsibility, what people in our society do is they look at one story that goes with their line of thinking, and they don't even care about the other story. And the people who govern over us, they know that it's that way. You go to the Daily Mail right now, the top stories in favor of Hillary, there's about 4 stories under it that are against her. There's even a story on the front page today of the Daily Mail that says women are more attracted to fatter men, so you might as well have a tire ring around your belly, and it shows a picture of Homer Simpson. Again, the point of my work is to wake up people to the fact that our news is not here for our benefit. It is here to confuse us, divide us, provoke us, poison us, mislead us. Every single day, that's what this news does, and so many people fall for it. So I want to show you what's up here. There's a major riddle with this story about the FBI reopening the investigation, and this coming in the time of the World Series, which has the Chicago Cubs in it, who haven't been there since 1945. This is a race to be the 45th president. Illinois in Gematria sums to 45. Hillary's from Chicago, Illinois, and has said she's a fan of the Cubs. She's cheering for the Cubs. You know, she had that bad day in the media Friday, and the Cubs lost at home. They had the fire on the runway at O'Hare Airport in Chicago. I did a video showing how that was a tribute to the Chicago fires of 1871 that started on October 8th, 10-8, kind of like 108, like 108 years since 1908. Again, Major League equals 108, 108 double stitches on a baseball, 216 individual stitches. The Cubs going up against Cleveland, the team from the 216 area code. So anyway, let's look at James Comey. I want to show you how all of these stories are scripted propaganda by the numbers, the people in position from president to FBI director to politician to nightly newscaster. These people are agents selling us out by the numbers. By the way, these Freemasons, which is what the network is, it's Freemasons in high places doing things by esoteric practices such as numerology, gematria, astrology. James Comey was born December 14th. That's interesting to me because he became FBI director in 2013, not long after Sandy Hook, which happened on December 14th. He's currently 55 years old. Chicago Cubs has gematria 55, Pythagorean with the S exception. He's a member of the Republican Party. Today he's being accused of politically attacking the Democratic candidate while withholding information about Donald Trump's connection to Russia. What do you think they're trying? What do you think the larger overall message is? You know, if you read between the lines between this alliance about this alliance between the United States and Russia, you know, plus with what's going on in Syria, United States versus Russia. You know, the USSR broke up and became smaller nations. The USA very likely to do the same thing in the future. The day Comey was born, date with 105, numerology, Zionism, Masonry, 42, Freemason. Interesting numbers in his birthday. His upcoming birthday this year, we're going to be talking about his upcoming birthday, what's so interesting about it. But for starters, it's also a date with numerology for Freemason, matching his birth numerology. He's going to be turning 56 this year. His birth name is James Brian Comey Jr., gematria of 77, special number for Washington, D.C., where the FBI is on the 77th meridian. Power equals 77. Today's date, October 31st, 2016, Halloween Day, numerology of 77. J. Edgar Hoover died at age 77, by the numbers, as we'll get to. If you missed my video from a couple months back, I called the FBI and was educating him about them, about the history of FBI by the numbers and how the FBI is a terrorist organization. They hung up on me. You know, the FBI, they didn't want to investigate the truth that day about their own organization. But you can go back, the phone call's there, just search Zachary K. Hubbard calls FBI. I think I'm going to call him later today. Got to do an interview with Jeff Young. I think after I'm done with Jeff, I'm going to call the FBI. Might have another video here pretty soon. The FBI needs to know about this. So anyway, the story of James Comey reopening the investigation came Friday, October 28th. A date with 74 numerology, Masonic 74. From that day to December 14th, his birthday is 47 days. The reflection of 74. The word agent 47, president 47, authority 47. Authority, the big way, is 137, like Washington, D.C., like American Meridian, the 77th Meridian. 137, which matches with those words, including authority in Washington, D.C. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Federal in Pythagorean gematria is 33. Think about it. Washington, D.C., federal headquarters, authority. This headline right here this morning, what we know above James Comey and don't know above Hillary Clinton, show you something interesting about that. What we don't know in Pythagorean gematria sums to 44. Go to the Writing the Beast gematria calculator. Here, we'll just do it real quick together. All of you can do these things just as simply as me. You can come to my blog, you can copy and paste the phrase. You can get to the gematria calculator, which I have bookmarked. Choose English reduction. What we know, 44. James Comey, this news story from today to his birthday is 44 days. It's 3 days later. 3 days ago it was 47 days. Now it's 44 days. The next part is and don't know. Let's see what the gematria of is, or the gematria is for and don't know. 45. Here we are in a race to be the 45th president. Again, Illinois equals 45. We're talking about the Cubs in the World Series for the first time since 45. The Cubs play at Wrigley. Their name's the Cubs. I think the Bears are playing on Monday Night Football tonight. I'm behind on that. You know, that's not a coincidence that Chicago's on primetime football. We'll see what the Bears do tonight. They're having an awful season. But Bears, Cubs, Wrigley, Illinois, Cubs in their first World Series since 71 years ago. The first game of the World Series on a date was 71 numerology. The NBA season began that date. Also, the 71st NBA season beginning on a date was 71 numerology, just like the World Series where the Cubs haven't been for 71 years. The Chicago Fire was in 1871. It began at the address 137, the 33rd prime. It burned 3.3 square miles of Chicago to the ground. So anyway, think about it. 44, 45, 45th president, but 44th person to be president. Just like how Obama's number 44, but the 43rd person. And that pattern goes all the way back to number 24 because Grover Cleveland was the 22nd president and the 24th. So he put the count off between people and president number ever since. He was the 24th president, but the 22nd person to be president. You know what I mean? The next president was the 25th president, but the 24th person. The 23rd person to be president was the 23rd president. That's the last time it was on, was 23. Harrison was president, number 23. So anyway, here we go. J. Edgar Hoover, the original head of the FBI during the time it changed its name. Watch this. John Edgar Hoover, Pythagorean gematria with the V exception, equals 102. Without the V exception, it's 84. United States of America is the same way, 84 and 102. FBI, which he was the head of, has gematria of 102. Fuck you, 102. Al-Qaeda, 102. The FBI investigated 9/11. The 9/11 attack supposedly lasted 102 minutes. There's a movie called 102 Minutes That Changed America. J. Edgar Hoover also has this gematria of 83. So does election. So does leap year. So does the Donald. We're in a leap year. We're in an election year. FBI playing a big role in the election. Think about it. J. Edgar Hoover, he died May 2nd, 1972. Here's why that's so interesting. The date he died was a date with 79 numerology. The word murder equals 79. The FBI also changed its name to Federal Bureau of Investigation on March 22nd, 1935. That date can be written 3/22, like the number for Yale, Skull and Bones, the Masonic Order. 2004, the election was between Bush and Kerry, both members of Skull and Bones. They were asked about it by Tim Russert. Look up Tim Russert's death and see how they report 223, the time involved in his death, the reflection of 322. That date, March 22nd, can also be written 22/3. Masonic equals 223. The Synagogue of Satan equals 223. If you don't know what the Synagogue of Satan is, look it up. March 22nd, 1935. Date was 79 numerology, just like the date Hoover died. And again, the word murder equals 79. The day he died on also has a life lesson number of 43. R.I.P. Rest in peace, 43. May 22nd, typically the 122nd day of the year. Number connected to Freemason. God through the Jewish faith. The Freemasons are playing God over us by the numbers. Conspiracy also equals 123. That year was a leap year. Like this year, it was the 123rd day of the year. Here's that gematria for Washington, D.C., American Meridian. You know, if you're new to gematria, write it down. Learn the sequence of these letters. You'll be able to do this math in your head. When you can do this math in your head, it goes a long way. The FBI was first established July 26, 1908. If you've never seen my work on Revelation and 726, New York was also established on this date. Check that out. That was a date with 33 numerology, like the word federal. Here's the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The word police, 33. This was the federal police. Look at this. Federal Bureau of Investigation, 133. Let's not overlook the 33 ending, just like government and White House. And let's not forget that government originally means mind control. The original definition of terrorism was government by intimidation. Think about what we have here. Constant mind control, mind programming, constant fear and intimidation, needless lies. People in this nation, they worship it. They worship it because they're fearful at the core, fearful of being punished, consequence, being killed. Fear kills. Here's that number for Skull and Bones. Bonesmen, their alumni, 33. George W. Bush became president 33 years after graduating in 68, becoming president in 2001. He was the 43rd president. His father was the 43rd vice president. And his brother was the 43rd governor of Florida. Yale equals 43. The Bush dynasty from New Haven, Connecticut. New Haven CT equals 43. Think about how Hoover died on a date with 43 numerology. Bush, the 41st president, we started with 41. Bush Sr. was former head of the CIA before becoming vice president and president. So anyway, I have a longer video on this if you want to go back. I'll also be calling the FBI, and if they don't hang up on me, I'll be sharing with them the same information. But again, did we get those dates up here for the FBI? FBI established 1908, July 26th, changed its name on March 22nd, 1935. Now here's what I want to show you about Anthony Weiner. Anthony Weiner on Friday, I said, was definitely connected through this as a World Series riddle. Notice he's born September 4th, 1964. From his date of birth to the day this news came out, connecting Hillary and Weiner through emails, through Weiner's former wife, Hillary's former aide, Huma Abedin, that was 54 days. The word baseball equals 54. Notice last night the closer for the Cubs pitched 2 2/3 innings. 2-2-3, number 54. I said if the Cubs won last night, he'd be closing it out again. Symbolic. 54 outs in a complete game. The date of this news was also a date with 54 numerology. And with regards to his September 4th birthday, it matches his full birth name, 94. This year, the baseball season began on the 94th day of the year. When you write out 94 as a word, it sums to the exact same thing as World Series, which is 147 and 57. The Cubs got their 94th win in their 147th game of the year, and the Indians won 94 games this year. Their manager, Francona, is also 57 years old right now. Anthony David Weiner, the big way, sums to 211, which is the 47th prime, our number for agent. You know, the James Comey story on this day coming 47 days before his birthday. It was also a date with 74 numerology. Weiner equals 74, like Masonic, like Jewish. He's Jewish. He's from Brooklyn, New York, 223. Jewish, the false Jews said to rule in the end times. The Zionist Jews, the false Jews, control your media, your government worldwide. Doing this worldwide by the numbers. Gematria, Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism in numbers. Gematria, a Jewish practice. It's not hard to see what's going on here, people. These people created our nation, our culture the way we know it. It's why Halloween's 41 on this date with 41 numerology. It's why we get Anthony Weiner from the FBI, established in 1908, syncing up with the Cubs. The two Indians pitchers who got wins on the road at Wrigley, Game 3, Game 4, both of their name gematria is the exact same as Wrigley Field. You think that's a coincidence? It's because all of this is scripted and planned, and we're being sold out. The Indian second baseman's the next door neighbor to Steve Bartman. I mean, what are the odds of that, people? Pro sports, you know, national news, it's full of coincidence reporting like this, and people just shrug it off left and right. It's because we're being sold out by a Masonic Zionist network. And this is how they operate. Mocking us with numbers, history. So anyway, I'll link all these posts. There's more reading here. Thanks for tuning in as always. Be sure to tune in to Jeff Young tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Be on his program talking about all this and more. And later today, I should have an FBI phone call in store. Have a good one.